All right, this is Limited Nationals final stage. This is a very simple vanilla stage. What makes it complicated is not really the challenge of the stage. It's more so how nervous I was going into it, and you can see a lot of the tension and sort of the fundamental errors that come out as a result of that. And we'll get into some of that minutia. Basic explanation of what's going on here. We have all these steel back here. You can see from either this window or a position in this back right corner, the up range rightmost corner of the stage, which is the last position we're going to go to. So most people elect to shoot these steel from up here because there's 6 of them and they're about 12 yards away. A couple pickup shots in those steel, God forbid, even worse, a couple more shots than that is going to really ruin your time, and that's going to lock in your score pretty much for the rest of the stage. That's the only part where there's going to be any major drama. So most folks choose to play it safe. Of course, my position leading, I'm going to do the same thing. So starting off here, you can see I'm all wound up. I'm waiting for the standby beep, and I have a little twitch right here. Right as I'm waiting for that beep, I hear a shot in the next bait, and you can see my whole arm trigger. Ugh! So I'm already nervous, as you can see, right? So I come into this first position. My plan is basically to find the spot, shoot confirmation 3 on the first 3 plates, and then if everything's going well, feeling natural, hits are showing up where I want to, I'll just go a little bit more natural from there. I come into the spot. First 2 shots go right over the right shoulder. You can see my grip is not performing that well just based on how the gun is bucking around. So I just kind of stick with confirmation 3, just put the sights nicely on the plate in every case and watch them all go down. You see, I'm going to make sure I really call that extra shot, that last shot on the last plate very cleanly. Even if I start to watch it drop a little bit, that's fine because I want to make sure they're all going down. Getting boned on a popper or, God forbid, just edging one is going to is not going to give me the results I need on this, and this is a really important stage, so I'm going to play it safe that way. Visually, right, doing a transition off this plate, right, you see my eyes come off this plate, and they go straight to this spot right here, right? I'm going to do a transition visually from that spot right where I want my foot to land, and that's something that I tend to always try to do. Chugging into this spot, you see pretty good confirmation, a little bit extra than what I need coming into the transition entries in every one of these targets. So there's a pretty pronounced pause every time the gun comes into the target before I start shooting. And just that you believe me, right? Play this at full speed and you'll be able to see the same thing. It's not just because it's in slow motion that it looks that way. So you can feel that nice delayed pause. And the same thing here, I'm going to stick this load right here, of course, as quickly as I can. Then I'm going to visually do a transition from here straight to this exact corner I want my foot to land right here. And we'll see how that looks, full speed. Right, coming into this spot, I get to this position a little bit quicker than I was expecting, and you can tell based on what happens when I get here, right? My foot is now in the position I want it to be, but the problem is, right, my hands are not anywhere near my eye line where I need them to be to actually find this target. So you look at this hand too, you can see the fact that this grip is still being assembled based on the fact that my hand is not wrapped around the gun tight. So for that reason, you can tell that I'm a little bit slow getting shooting here, and the fact that you watch the gun buck around a lot, you can tell that my grip is not really built very nicely. Further evidenced by the fact that when I come into this position, I'm shooting at an open target and I have to put 3 shots on it. Cranking along, getting onto this next position. This was, in fairness, this is a pretty difficult position to get in. I mean, you had to get your foot in this exact position right there, and you had to pretty much keep your feet bladed off this way in order to have access to these targets over here and then being able to move back in this direction. So it wasn't easy, but it's just not the level of technical proficiency I want to see, and especially, not because I'm nervous. Coming to this last position, I'm learning from my mistakes a little bit, right? You see, I have the gun gripped up and aimed right here plenty early enough. When I come in, I'm going to shoot at this open target first, and then I'm going to whack this easier partial in that order. So I'm sort of transitioning past this partial this way so that I can enter on that easier target coming in with a nicely built grip. That transition to the right there, right? And then just switching to the back, I have down in this area down here, I have some 20 or so yard targets that I'm going to just shoot confirmation 3 on, just try to plug away some nice tight alphas. And that was all she wrote, right? In a nutshell, all this stage really required was staying relaxed and just doing what I was able to do out of the best of my ability, just like pretty much any other stage. It's just a lot harder to believe that in your heart of hearts when it's all on the line. Once those steel go down, I mean, from that point, like I said, your time is pretty well locked in. There's going to be very minor discrepancies shooter to shooter in terms of, how fast people get through the paper and all that. A couple of guys elected to shoot these steel back here from this back position, and as you can see, right, just sort of estimating, looking from this position where my feet are here to here, from between position 1 and final, respectively, it's probably an additional 7 or 8 yards of additional shooting at back at those seal if you were to take that option. That was a lot of risk. Nils balled out, chose to try to shoot them from back here, just had a couple too many pickup shots, and that's the risk you run when you take on aggressive strategy like that. For the position I was in, this was definitely the plan to do. Hope you enjoyed this. I'm looking forward to doing a couple more coming up soon. All right, bye.